Right now, 25 years later, it's a case that continues to haunt investigators who still hope to solve one of the most chilling murder cases ever in Dane County.
Plus, a growing concern about the increase in newly diagnosed colorectal cancer cases, but there is a silver lining.
And later, after sharing my concussion story with viewers, now it's your turn. We'll share reaction to the invisible injury that's impacting hundreds of thousands of people. News 3 Now at 10 starts right now.
25 years ago, I was actually a detective at the time, and remember that day, getting called up to St. Michael's.
Thank you for joining us tonight. It was one of the most shocking and brutal murders Dane County has ever experienced, and yet a quarter century later, the killer of Father Alfred Coons remains unknown. Eric has more on how investigators refuse to let the case go cold.
Charlotte, that's right. We profiled this case at 10 years, then 15, and 20 years. Hard to believe now, 25 years since Father Coons was found murdered in a hallway at St. Michael Catholic School in the village of Dane. All these years later, the mystery remains.
This was one of the most horrific homicide cases of many in our county.
After 4 decades in law enforcement, former Dane County Sheriff Dave Mahoney says there are just 3 cases he can't seem to shake.
2 that are resolved, but they still gnaw at me. And then this one, which was unresolved because we haven't really brought it to an end.
He was a detective on the morning of March 4th, 1998, when Father Alfred Coons was found face down with his throat cut in the hallway at St. Michael's School in the village of Dane.
Really shocked not only the community of Dane, which is very close-knit and a rural community, but it shocked our entire county.
While there remains no shortage of theories and rumors about why Father Coons was murdered, what is known is that the 68-year-old priest, a former Golden Gloves boxer, put up a fight.
We know that looking at his hands, he probably got a good number of hits in on his person who assaulted him. My guess probably had some very significant signs of injury.
News 3 Now has profiled the case through the years, and in 2018, Mahoney launched a social media campaign that led to many tips, but no arrests. Now, as investigators retire and possible suspects and witnesses die, Mahoney isn't giving up his hope that someone out there knows something.
And at some point in time, they need to resolve it in their own soul and their own mind and come forward.
And in turn, giving this small community and this longtime sheriff peace of mind.
It resonates and haunts, if you will, myself and many, many others who want this resolved. And I look forward to the day that it can be resolved, and I'll sleep better.
And Sheriff Mahoney says he still talks to the Madison Diocese about the death of Father Coons as it hopes to bring closure to the case. Anyone who has any information about the murder is asked to call the Dane County Sheriff's Office tip line 608-284-6900.
Developing tonight in Sun Prairie, terroristic threat charges are pending against a 15-year-old West High School student. Yesterday, the district says a note was found that referenced violence at the school later this week. They contacted police, who later identified the author. We also have new details about the alleged threat made against the UW. The criminal complaint, which was filed yesterday, charges 26-year-old Thomas Hansen with 1 felony count of making terroristic threats. The documents say a Madison police officer was contacted by the FBI last Friday to help find Hansen after seeing comments made on the social media app Yik Yak. One comment details how a woman appears to have canceled a date with Hansen, followed by another that said, "I'm getting to that point where I think I should stop trying to date and start sneaking guns into a crowded school building." Another comment by the account says, "You're cool, don't go to Bascom Hall next week." During an interview with investigators, Hansen said it was a joke.
Moving to weather now. How long will these spring-like conditions stick around? Julian C. right now with our first warn forecast.
Well, things are already gotten chillier throughout much of southern Wisconsin as a cold front made its way through the upper Midwest. So now we're looking at temperatures that are going to be just a few below freezing as we head into the overnight. But the good news is it is quiet, but since it is quiet, it's also cloudy. Looking ahead over the next few hours, it's the upper 30s for right now, but we're going to maintain those mid-30s throughout the overnight hours, but once we're heading out the door, we're going to see those temperatures really fall into the upper 20s for many areas and the lower 30s, just a couple degrees below freezing. Right now throughout southern Wisconsin, it's 37 apiece for Madison and Janesville, and about 35 for Platteville with 37 degrees for Watertown. Taking a look around Dane County, pretty much everywhere is uniform into the upper 30s as we're getting into the rest of our Wednesday night. Now looking ahead for tonight, as I mentioned, those temperatures are going to slide a bit further. We're going to see those upper 20s for us here in Madison, about mid-30s for Janesville, and the lower 30s for our friends in Platteville. Tomorrow, though, we're going to be a bit colder than we were today. 37 degrees is going to be looking to be our high. But again, folks, we still have the alert day in the forecast because we still have some uncertainties, but we are watching for a system to bring in accumulating snow that could bring some disruptive conditions by the time we get into our Friday morning. We'll have more details in a few moments. Until then, back to you guys.
Thank you, Julian. Yesterday, we told you about the decreasing number of car thefts in Madison. According to the police department's fourth quarter report, 117 vehicles were reported stolen in the city over the last 3 months of 2022, which is down about 30% from the previous year. Many of those targeted vehicles over recent years were Kias and Hyundais due to a safety flaw that made them easy targets.
Well, now police in Madison are encouraging people who drive them to take advantage of a new security update to help prevent the thefts. The software update, which was announced last month, is designed to prevent certain Kia and Hyundai models manufactured between 2015 and 2019 from starting without a key in the ignition. Now, if you own one of those vehicles, the NHTSA urges you to call Kia or Hyundai for information on how to get the free software update. Madison PD says dealerships in the area are offering to perform that upgrade. Madison police tonight asking for help identifying this man. He is accused of beating up two people at an East Side laundromat over the weekend. Happened on Milwaukee Street. Police say it started when the victim stole the suspect's clothes out of a dryer, and he later confronted them when he saw one of them wearing his shirt. At least one of the victims was hospitalized. A Middleton store very popular with the local swimming community will be closed for at least 48 hours after they say a car came crashing through the front of Simply Swimming early this morning. No word on what caused it, with some big state club meets going on right now. Simply Swimming says on its Facebook page customers can call if they have special orders.
Here's dramatic footage tonight showing firefighters in Buffalo, New York being thrown to the ground by an explosion while battling a large fire in the city's theater district today. One firefighter was killed in that blast. No word yet what caused it. New tonight, Norfolk Southern Railroad CEO Alan Shaw is expected to testify before a Senate committee next week about the Ohio train derailment. That's according to a source familiar with the matter. They say that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer will call on Shaw to appear before the Senate's Environment and Public Works Committee. Meanwhile, Republicans are gearing up for an investigation in the House aimed directly at the Biden administration's response to the crisis. The death toll in a train crash in Greece yesterday continues to rise. Officials say at least 43 people have now died following the head-on collision between a passenger and freight train. The passenger train was carrying more than 350 people at that time. New tonight, today kicks off Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, and health experts say awareness has never mattered more.
Over the past decade, they've seen a 2% increase in those under 55 being diagnosed each year, and that's why they want people to recognize the causes and the need to get screened. Armand Rahman has more.
That's quite alarming and different than what we had expected.
It's called the most preventable, yet least prevented. The American Cancer Society found more adults younger than 55 are being diagnosed with colorectal cancer.
So the idea is find it before you feel any different at all.
Chief Patient Officer Arif Kamal says they're seeing the cancer moving to the left side of the colon more.
For those left-sided tumors, an ability to show up with bleeding, changes in the stool, particularly a darkening of the stool to a black color, even abdominal pain. And I would highly recommend if people are experiencing that they bring that to their doctor's attention.
Common risk factors include family history of the disease, obesity, smoking, and excessive alcohol use.
It's also something important to note, meaning that as some of those changes, particularly obesity and overweight status, are a bit different in folks who are 40 today than, let's say, 20 years ago.
And take a good look at it.
Experts recommend you start getting routinely screened at 45 years old, even if you don't feel any symptoms.
Because generally speaking, the problematic, troublesome, troublemaking cancers are the ones that cause symptoms. Generally, they're more advanced by the time they cause symptoms, and they're harder to cure and harder to treat at that point.
And again, colorectal cancer is highly curable if found early. There are several screening tests used to find polyps, which are indicators of the disease. Talk to your doctor to find which one is right for you.
Thank you, Armand. Here is something to watch for overnight. SpaceX and NASA are set to launch a joint mission to the International Space Station in just a few hours. The first attempt for the Crew 6 team on Monday was scrubbed minutes before the blastoff. NASA said there was an unusual data signature with a fluid that's used to start the rocket's engines. The new launch is scheduled for 12:34 a.m., weather permitting.
Well, check it out. The legendary rock band Kiss has announced its final concert series. The End of the Road tour will kick off in October in Austin, Texas. They'll make 18 stops. The closest to us is the northwest Chicago suburb of Rosemont. That'll be November 27th. The band will finish their career near where they started 50 years ago at New York City's Madison Square Garden. Still to come tonight, an update on the storm system later this week as our weather team narrows it down a bit.
But first, it appears many of you understand what it's like to live with post-concussion syndrome. I shared my personal story last week, and after the break, I'm going to share some of yours.
What you see is important. That makes quality eye care important too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see. Don't need glasses. See us for your contacts and save on your annual supply.
Have you heard? We've outgrown our space. Again! Save up to half off floor samples and special orders at Dwellings Construction Sale. Dwellings, interior design and home furnishings. Still Madison's best kept $150 secret.
There are so many things we take for granted, and along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for granted too. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy and water providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
To everyone who believes in tradition, come enjoy a few of ours from Wisconsin.
People in Wisconsin love a good fish fry.
Really love. And we love sharing it with guests everywhere.
At Culver's, we still batter our North Atlantic cod by hand to order.
And we cook it to a crispy, golden perfection just for you.
For you.
For you. So it's crispy outside, flaky inside. Let us take care of you.
With some homegrown traditions we were raised on.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Don't miss your chance to see The Lion King, one of the most awe-inspiring productions ever brought to life on stage.
Coming to Overture Center May 11th through 28th. Tickets on sale now at overture.org.
Need life insurance? SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, a $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. And SelectQuote found his wife, Wendy, a $500,000 policy for only $17 a month.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Have you heard? We've outgrown our space. Again! Save up to half off floor samples and special orders at Dwellings Construction Sale. Dwellings, interior design and home furnishings. Still Madison's best kept $150 secret.
What you see is important. That makes quality eye care important too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see.
Shopko Optical welcomes more insurance plans than ever. Call to book an exam and verify coverage.
Please welcome the one and only Ernie Hudson. We have more in common than a last name. We gotta check the family chain or something.
This is America. We might be related to all these people.
And Outer Banks star Madison Bailey.
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Since sharing my story with you about my own long recovery journey after a concussion that changed everything, I've heard from so many of you sharing similar stories, and I wanted to share some of your own words. This one from a woman in a car accident 18 months ago told me, quote, "For almost 7 months, I thought I was going crazy. I felt a disconnect from everything and everyone." Another person telling me, "You are the first person I have seen bring this to the forefront. It seems like nobody wants to hear you." Yet another, quote, "Your story brought tears to my eyes. I know exactly what you are going through. I've had PCS for 5.5 years. People don't understand what we are going through." Another, "Your story spoke to me and brought tears to my eyes as I'm going through something very similar. I've had many people not take my symptoms seriously because outwardly, I look normal." Well, these are just a few of so many. As we work to continue generating awareness about TBIs after concussions, we're returning tonight to the story that started it all and the moment I hit my head in the elevator that changed everything. It's an invisible condition.
Meaning, how often do people who have concussion have people walk up to you and say, "You look fine"?
But I wasn't fine. I was well past the normal recovery time of a couple weeks, and I was still having crushing headaches every day. I was nauseous, dizzy, and suddenly lights and loud noises bothered me. Even more frightening, I couldn't remember words, names, or what I was talking about during a conversation.
About 20% of people have persistent post-concussive symptoms greater than 3 months.
Of the roughly 3 million people who get a concussion every year, about 600,000 develop post-concussion syndrome. They're the long haulers, the group that will take months or even years to feel and function like themselves again.
They don't realize how it affects their life. Not just, oh, I have a headache, or, oh, I have some memory problems, but it affects their work, their family life, social things. It affects everything. I'm going to give you this deck of cards.
Kathy Pazak,
have 2 piles,
is my speech therapist.
And I'm going to ask you questions. How many times have I said to you, I want that big red Band-Aid on your head so people know there's something wrong, because you look great. Do you buy suits?
You don't see it. More local news now, but if you pay attention, you can hear it. Agriculture consulting. I know that word, but in an instant, my brain didn't.
That is a word, agnosia. You know it. I've said this word 10 times, but just in that fleeting minute with everything else that's going on in your life with the cameras and the lights.
Then snow cancels.
You've got so many stressors. It just goes.
And with a concussion, the biggest challenge is people's identity changes.
Really light circles.
And so we want to help you get your identity back.
Marianne Relke is my occupational therapist.
So which one is better, the lighter or the dark?
And she's helping me get back to living a normal life.
You'll get better. It just takes time. You can't speed it up. You can't muscle through this.
Finger to nose.
Okay. But there is help.
Keep going faster.
And hope.
I don't sit there and have this conversation where I say, you won't get better. Because I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep trying to find answers for you.
If you or someone you know needs help dealing with a concussion or a TBI, I've posted the contact information for the people I see on my Charlotte DeLeste Facebook page. They have been so helpful, and they continue to give me hope, and I know they can do the same for you.
Charlotte, thank you. It's getting to be that time of the year. If you're planning on visiting Washington, D.C. for the annual Cherry Blossom Festival, the best dates to attend have been revealed. The National Park Service says the cherry blossoms are expected to reach peak bloom between March 22nd and 25th. That is defined as when 70% of the flowers are in bloom. Nothing in bloom around here just yet. We did see the rest of that. Most of the snow that was left, I had a big chunk of ice at the base of my driveway, melted off today, but we're going to see some changes in 48 hours.
Yes, we will. But I definitely have some FOMO from back home. I really wish I haven't seen the cherry blossoms in 4 years.
That's your old neck of the woods.
That's my old neck of the woods, so I'm really jealous of those that get to do that. But for us, it did feel like spring today. How much longer will it be like that? Well, not too much longer, at least for the next few days. We're actually going to be getting a potential taste of some winter over the next couple to at least end our work week. But for tonight, it's going to be quiet, and we are looking for some colder conditions. And then heading into our Thursday is going to be dry, but it will also be rather cloudy. Temperatures look to fall into the 30s throughout much of southern Wisconsin. And then we're still watching for the uncertainty of what's going to be happening once we get into our Friday. But there's still a possibility for us to see a little bit of snow once we get into our Friday. But here's what's happening on our radars right now. Our friends to the south are dealing with some severe weather. Severe thunderstorms just into the northern parts of Mississippi. But for us, we are looking at just snow in the northern parts of Wisconsin, but dry if you are south of I-39. So that's what's our theme going to be for the next at least 24 hours until we get into our Friday. So let's go ahead and plan out Thursday. It's going to be a cloudy one. Don't expect to see any sun or much sun at all throughout the course of the day, but our temperatures will be into the upper 30s. A few areas will be into the lower 40s. That's from Prairie du Chien over towards our friends in Lone Rock and for Janesville alike, but overall, it's not going to be nearly as nice as it was for today. Now, walking through our day planner, getting into around our early morning hours, heading out the door 7 o'clock, things are going to be rather on the chilly side, especially we're getting those northerly winds just starting to keep things a few degrees below freezing. As we get to the lunchtime hour and afterwards, middle to upper 30s, but the cloud cover is not going anywhere. And then heading into our Thursday night, staying rather quiet, but the change is what's going to happen into the overnight. Now, there's still lots of disagreement of what's going to be happening from many of the models that we've been watching for, but potentially we could start to see some snowfall making its way here, which is why we have the alert day, because the snow that could come would be disruptive enough for our morning and our evening hours for some areas in southern Wisconsin. So let's kind of break it down for us. We're going to be looking at about 1 to 5 inches of snowfall for many areas in southern Wisconsin, especially southeast of Madison, coming in from our Friday morning into our Friday evening. So this could be hindering many of the commute hours for us from Friday morning into our Friday evening. But again, it's still just up in the air of what we're going to be seeing. Here's one run, which is bringing in a bit more of that rain that starts to clip more into the Chicago area, but starts to mix a little bit as it tries to inch closer into southern Wisconsin as we get into the later parts of our Friday evening and heading into our Friday nights. Now, we do have another run, which is making it shift more north, but it is a bit slower, so there's going to be lingering snow a little bit more and also just clipping parts of Dane County and mainly hitting the southeasterly side of southern Wisconsin. So our forecast, this is what we're going to be watching for. 1 to 3 inches of snow just south of Dane County and a very narrow band of 3 to 6 inches just to the southeastern corridor. This would be just around Walworth and even for Kenosha counties as we get into our Friday evening. But otherwise, we're not looking for this to be a big snow event, but still enough to be disruptive throughout our Friday morning and our Friday evening once again. But there is still plenty of uncertainties and things that could change. Here's a quick look at our 10-day forecast heading into the weekend. Temperatures will be back to the lower 40s, and we're going to carry that into the first half of next week until we're back to being seasonable.
And coming up in sports, the Bucks start off March exactly as they closed out February. How the Deer ran past the Magic is next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
All you have to do is point.
Yes! 1-800-GOT-JUNK can make it disappear.
And that's why they all start dancing.
Woo!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Built Ford Tough. It's a commitment to providing you the capability, productivity, and the technology that you expect from Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 46 years straight. And now during Ford Truck Month, find out what a Built Ford Tough truck can do for you. This is Ford Truck Month, America.
Fresh out of Papa Murphy's kitchen, the limited time double bacon cheddar pizza.
Actually, it's fresh out of my oven.
Dad, it's just an expression.
Mozzarella, crispy bacon, and Canadian bacon with nacho cheddar cheese sauce. Now that is an expression.
At Papa Murphy's, we make great pizza, so you can make the pizza great.
In my oven.
Order now at papamurphys.com.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. If you or a loved one were stationed at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987 and were later diagnosed with cancer, Parkinson's disease, or other serious health effects, call right now.
Call 1-800-336-0524.
Monona Plumbing and Fire Protection, a name you can trust when service is a must.
Monona Plumbing and Fire Protection is here 24 hours a day.
7 days a week for all your residential and commercial plumbing services.
From installation, repairs, and maintenance to complete sewer and drain cleaning, we've got you covered.
Visit MononaPFP.com.
Monona Plumbing and Fire Protection, a name you can trust when service is a must.
There are so many things we take for granted, and along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for granted too. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living, and through no fault of their own, they're being left behind? If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy and water providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Introducing Astapro Allergy, steroid-free allergy relief that starts working in 30 minutes, while other allergy sprays take hours. Now with Astapro Fast Allergy Relief, you can Astapro and go.
All you have to do is point.
Yes!
1-800-GOT-JUNK can make it disappear.
And that's why they all start dancing.
Woo!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
One year ago today, Chucky Hepburn did this to Purdue to clinch a share of the Big Ten title for Wisconsin. Fitting that tomorrow the two will play again in a meaningful game for both teams. The Badgers need another marquee win on their resume, while the Boilermakers need a win to win the conference crown outright.
We're going to have to win these games down the stretch, whether it's now or in the Big Ten tournament. We're going to have to make a run if we want to go deep in the postseason and make the tournament eventually. So we know what's on stake.
Giannis and the Bucks going for their 16th straight win, hosting the Magic. And when Drew Holiday is showing off his bounce, you know it's going well. Holiday slams it home. He finished with 23 points and 9 assists. And then it was Giannis dialing one up from deep. It was a chef's kiss kind of night. Bucks made 24 threes and beat the Magic by 22, 139 to 117. The Oregon boys hockey team has been buzzing this week. Tomorrow they'll make their first appearance at the state hockey tournament. And for head coach Larry Clemens, he credits this trip to his program's culture of being committed and connected.
Oregon isn't a flashy team on the ice.
We're a gritty team. That's what we are. We just try to outwork.
Or as they like to say, they're will over skill.
We're going to kind of just blue collar it, right? We're going to get pucks to the net, and we're going to play hard, and we're just going to try to outwill you.
That grit helped this team make history.
It's probably one of the best days of our lives.
And advance to the state tournament for the first time.
I almost was emotionless. Like, I didn't even know how to feel. I was nearly shocked.
To get there, the Panthers stuck with Larry Clemens and his plan of being committed and connected.
Staying committed to the team, staying committed to the bit, staying committed to our process, right? Don't jump ship, and then stay connected as a team. No one's getting negative in the locker room. It's just stay committed, stay connected all the way through, and we'll find success.
Committed to the goal of playing better hockey.
When we say that, we're talking even like outside of practice, outside of hockey, like as a person in general, just being a good human being. And like I believe that that's going to like help us become like a better team. And like obviously it has.
And connected to each other to become better people.
This is a privilege for these guys to be able to go to a state tournament, and first time in history for Oregon to do it. But to walk away from the game and like find some good life habits. And I think that committed, connected, something that will stick with all of them. Look at all this pressure they got, huh?
And Wisconsin freshman Caroline Harvey has been named the WCHA Rookie of the Year. And it really was a no-brainer. Harvey tallied 35 points this season, which led all rookies in the conference, scoring 11 goals while dishing out 24 assists. She's the 7th Badger to win the award, joining the likes of Abby Rock, Megan Duggan, and current teammate Sophie Shirley. We're back after this.
Stanton Optical independent eye doctors are available for eye exams whenever you need one. You should have seen me before I got mine. You're so quiet. Are you mad at me? Book your free same-day eye exam at Stanton Optical today.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors for 35 years. Call today for free information.
Call 800-550-5543.
Fjords has been crafting beautifully designed functional furniture since 1941. Every aspect of Fjords furniture has been carefully engineered to create a higher level of relaxation. Right now at the Century House, purchase any Fjords furniture and receive up to 20% off. All models, all sizes, all colors. Experience the unmatched relaxation you can only achieve in Fjords furniture. Relaxation made beautiful. Visit the Century House at 3420 University Avenue in Madison or online at centuryhouseinc.com.
At no fault of their own during the cold, thousands of Wisconsin residents in your community make the difficult choice between eating or heating their home. On March 9th, please join News 3 Now and support a day of warmth, benefiting the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund. 90 cents of every dollar donated is used to help those in crisis. Give the gift of warmth. For more information, visit kwwf.org/donate. A Day of Warmth, sponsored by Viridian Homes and Kaiser Lincoln.
You've got places to be, things to do, goals to crush. So at Basecamp Fitness, we pack 50 minutes worth of calorie burn into just 35. How do we do it? By switching between 60-second intervals of air bike cardio and strength training to keep the workout and your progress moving forward fast, no matter what level you're at. Take a free class, join, and get a $100 Lululemon gift card through March 31st. Visit any of our 3 Madison locations or basecampfitness.com.
Dan Kelly won't keep our community safe. As a lawyer, Kelly defended child sex predators who posed as ministers in order to prey on vulnerable young girls. They lured young children to locations they believed to be safe, only to sexually assault and molest them. And Dan Kelly defended those monsters. Do you want someone like that on the Supreme Court? Dan Kelly, an extremist who doesn't care about us.
Allergy sufferers. Bedtime means it's time to take Zysol. Zysol relieves allergies while you sleep, so you wake refreshed. Plus, it works faster than Claritin, and on first dose, provides the same relief as Zyrtec in a pill nearly half the size. Be wise all. Take Zysol at night.
Stanton Optical is the best value in eye care. We did the math, people. For $79, you get all this. That costs over $400 at Lens Crafters, over $200 at Walmart, and over $150 at America's Best. When it comes to value, Stanton Optical is the top bird.
Channel 3000 Plus. Watch from your streaming media player or mobile device.
Final check of the forecast with Julian.
Well, we're going to be having our alert day still in the forecast for Friday because some areas are still going to be looking at potentials of some disruptive weather from our Friday morning and into our Friday evening. The good news is, though, folks, once the alert day is done, this weekend's shaping up to be rather nice with 40s, which lead into the early part of next week, and then we're back to seasonable.
Julian, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.